What's up everyone, welcome back to the channel. We're back on the 2021 Ducati Panigale V4S. We're still running it in. Frustrating as that may be, I'm determined I'm going to do it at least halfway properly this time. But a lot of people have been asking me, because obviously for those who don't know, if you haven't watched my channel before, I also own a 2020 Aprilia RSV41100 Factory. Look up here for that playlist. I currently have that as in track trim as my track bike, but I've had that on the road for quite a while as well. Did a few miles with that on the road. So a lot of people have been asking me how the Ducati compares to the Aprilia. I can give you a bit of a comparison, for at least from a road bike point of view for the time being. I've not ridden the Ducati yet on trike, so that's what we're going to talk about in today's video. How does the Ducati Panigale V4S compare to the Aprilia RSV41100 Factory? So first thing that I'll say is this: I don't want this to turn into a BMW Mercedes fanboy type argument in the comments, right? They're both exquisite Italian amazing bikes. I own them both. I'm not biased to any. I actually bought the Aprilia before I bought the Ducati for various reasons, none of which had to do with which was necessarily the better, more which was the appropriate one for me at that time and for what I wanted it to do. So that being said, how do they compare? Well, let's start from an ergonomics point of view, because that's where most people ask me the questions. So again, I'm 6 foot tall, 17 stone. I should be 16, but lockdown is killing me at the moment. Well, lockdown isn't killing me. All the chocolate I'm eating lockdown is killing me, but that's my bad for being a big fatty. But ergonomically, so yeah, 6 foot tall, 17 stone. I'm on the Ducati now, and the Ducati feels a little bit, a touch shorter, and it feels more like you sat on it than in it, if that makes sense. People who ride bikes will know what I mean. You feel more on this bike. The pegs are a little bit further back, and it feels a touch. Both standard pegs, by the way. I don't have rear sets on any, adjustable rear sets on any. And this Ducati feels a little bit more aggressive. It feels a little bit more sort of over the front, ready to go. And the position of the pegs, for me at least, makes me feel like I can move around on the bike a bit easier. I'm up on my toes. It feels a bit more natural for me to get in a sporty position. And bear in mind, I'm talking fractions here, right? I'm not saying the Aprilia is not sporty or not aggressive. I'm talking sort of minute differences that I can tell now from owning and riding both of these bikes for a while. The Ducati is probably a touch, weirdly, I don't know why I'm saying this, but it's a touch more comfortable on the wrists, I find. I don't find I'm sat quite as like wristy on this bike. But weirdly, again, this shouldn't be the case, but it is. The Aprilia is a bit more comfy on my bike. You know, I'm hunched a bit more over this, because I think it's because it's a bit shorter. The Aprilia feels wider as well, just a bit wider here. This feels like a small bike. This definitely, I know it is a bit, but this feels lighter. You can tell just manoeuvring it around and just sort of low speed stuff. The Ducati is definitely lighter than the Aprilia. So yeah, again, you know, both of these, by the way, are, you know, extremely focused sports bikes, and they're not intended to be tourers. So just no, I'm not assessing it like that. I've done some good miles on these now. So yeah, ergonomics like that. From a handling point of view, I've done some pretty quick track riding, and I'm saying quick relatively speaking for me at least. You know, I'm getting to the point in Cadwell where I'm touching on fast group pace now, at Cadwell at least. I'm a comfy Inters rider now. So the handling of the Aprilia, at least as a road bike, feels a bit more It doesn't turn quite as quickly, but it feels a bit more stable. That's how I'd explain it. This for me tends to slice around the corners a bit better. I was going through a set of bends the other day, and this tends to slice through the bends a bit more telepathically, I think was the word I used. Whereas the Aprilia I find needs a little bit more input. But on track, like, I've never yet had a moment on that Aprilia on track. It just feels rock steady all the time. Like literally, thank you mate. Feels rock steady all the time. Not that this doesn't, again, caveat, I haven't pushed this on track yet, so talking about road riding only. But for me, actually, this is the Ducati feels a bit more of a pleasant experience on the road. Because it just seems to, like I say, just flow into the bends with minimal to zero effort. Like just going through this roundabout here, you know, I'm not even touching them. It's like I'm not putting any inputs into the bike, it's just doing it. So the handling, again, like I say, that's the comparison. The handling, better's a different, a strange term, a subjective term, but I think for the road, for me, Ducati probably just takes it. But on the track, the Aprilia, I think I'll probably feel a little bit safer on, but we will see. I'll do a proper track comparison when I've had this on track shortly, hopefully. Gearbox, so let's do the full drivetrain. So the drivetrain, so we'll start with the gearbox actually, why not? So the gearbox on the Ducati, this 2021 model, is easily the best gearbox I've ever used. It's beautiful, it's like butter. It's almost seamless. The Aprilia is good, but it's not quite that good. It's a bit notchier, the Aprilia. When I rode the S1K in the Aprilia, pretty much back to back, day by day, I even said the S1K was a better gearbox than it is. This is better than the S1K, 100%. I've never, it's a standout thing for me, I've never ridden a bike with a gearbox like this before. It's beautiful. The throttle, there's different riding modes and different ways you can set the throttle up. Different levels of aggressiveness on both, you can change the mapping. But look, there's no snatchiness on either. Look, closed, look, it just winds open. This is in high power mode, in dynamic power setting. I've got it in sport, but you can put that map into street if you want. So I've got this in high power, dynamic power, and the throttle is, I've got it on medium engine braking, and that feels lovely. The Aprilia is equally as good on throttle. I can't complain about either. I would say there's very little difference in the throttle. The power's a little bit difficult to tell, because obviously I've not really given this the full beans yet. What I can tell you is the Aprilia feels smoother and more linear, and this feels a little bit more aggressive. Like, I can feel it even at lower revs. It just feels a bit more nuts, a bit more mental. And I did say that, to be fair, on the 2020 model I rode, which I did cane a bit. Sorry, SMC. Yeah, this feels a bit more mental, but for me, that's what I want out of this bike. I want something that's a bit nuts. It adds to the character. On track, we'll see, but I mean, maybe the Aprilia is perhaps maybe slightly easier to ride on track, I would suggest, just as a gut instinct for now. But again, I'll report that bike. But the power, I mean, if you watch top speed tests, there's probably not much in it. I think the Aprilia's slightly quicker maybe, but they're both 200 and somewhat brake horsepower. Both stupid power. Look, this just feels a bit more sudden, a bit more of an urgency when you just get on it, compared to the Aprilia. Not much in it. Brakes, I mean, they've both got big, fat, massive Brembo calipers and discs. You know, the brakes are even. There's nothing in it with the brakes. They're fantastic. Electronics-wise, I can only go off what. I can only really go off people who have done back-to-back track tests say, but the electronics package on the Ducati is far more advanced than on the Aprilia. It's the next generation basically. I can't say I've ever really noticed too much ball ache or too many problems with the Aprilia one on track, but I'm not quite at that sort of pace. But for me and you know I'm talking to you. Me and you, the average rider, you know you are. The Ducati probably has got a little bit more advancement in electronics, and thus arguably, very arguably, could be classed as a little bit safer, maybe, if you're riding like a complete weapon. In reality, none of us are ever going to really find that out, and if we do, then we shouldn't really be in that place anyway. Or the gearbox. Fit and finish, I mean, come on, it's a Ducati. I mean, that's not to say it's not close. The Aprilia is a beautifully built bike. It feels very, very special. Yeah, it feels very, very special, very, very well built. There are some bits of the Aprilia that are a little bit better. I mean, these mirrors are useless, pointless. They vibrate like hell. This flaps around like I don't really know what the hell it's doing. But other than that, I mean, it's a Ducati, man. It's just beautiful. The paint quality is phenomenal. The switch gear is beautiful. Everything that you touch is sort of like has this really weird tactile quality. Even the smell of it when I picked it up. And again, look, the Aprilia is a beautiful bike, a beautiful quality bike, but this is just a step on. There's no doubt about it. In my eyes, the Ducati is the best built, most beautiful bike you can buy in V4S form. I was winding a couple of my mates up who've ordered the SP. I like the SP, of course I like the SP. I just don't think it's in the spirit of the Ducati, in the spirit of this bike. I'm a bit traditional, bit of an old man, and I think you should go with a red standard V4S. It's like people who buy yellow Ferraris. I can't stand it. But I'm only kidding. The SP's lovely, but it's a bit too shouty and chavvy for me. Now then, we come to the argument for the ages, the sound. Look, man, I am lucky as hell I own both bikes, so I don't have any skin in the game here. But I think at lower revs, this is what I think, this is my opinion, at lower revs, the Aprilia takes it. I think at full chat, it's got to be the Ducati, even on these standard cans. I don't know what it is about this Euro 521 model, whether it's just me or whether I've got a good one or what, but this is, on standard cans, it's definitely louder than the 20 model that I tested. I mean, I can literally tell a marked difference. So yeah, look, I'm not going to get into that sound one. They're both the most beautiful sounding bikes ever. I think, like I say, a full chart, the Ducati maybe just takes it. But that Aprilia, I'd take some beating. I to be honest, I change my mind on that debate every time I think about it, and every time I hear one, I'm like, oh no, it's definitely Aprilia. Oh no, maybe the Ducati. So I'm a bit scatterbrained on that one. Either way, you can't go wrong. What have I missed? I feel like I've missed something. I usually do. Ride quality. Both got the Öhlins, semi-automatic, adjustable EC2, Öhlins suspension. I found myself riding the Duke in dynamic on the road, and it's just amazing. I mean, it seems to soak up all the bumps on the UK roads with absolute drama-free beautifulness. Oh. But then when you're in a corner, it's stiff as fuck, and I guess that's the dynamic thing doing its thing. I don't know how it works, witchcraft probably. But I think from a ride quality point of view, I think on the road the Ducati may be just shady. Well, I don't know why that is, because like I said, they both got the same suspension. On track we'll see, track's a different thing, isn't it, because you want a different thing like a suspension. I don't think there'll be much in them. So I think that's it really. So these are just sort of my first initial comparisons, and just trying to let you know what the 2020 Aprilia RSV41100 compares to Ducati. I may change my mind after a few months of ownership, and if I do, I will report back. And there is a big caveat on the horizon. Let's all not forget that the 2021 Aprilia RSV41100 Factory is a mere days away from landing in showrooms. And I am reliably promised that I will be one of the first to ride that, certainly in my local area. I guess the big boy magazines will get a go first, because they're way more important than little old me. But I'll be getting a go on the RSV4, and again I'll make another video comparing the two. But for the time being, I haven't ridden it, so I can't compare it, but I own both of these, so I can. So in summary, they're both amazing bikes. I wouldn't want a different 2-bike garage, although I've got a 3-bike garage, but I've got a dirt bike, but that's another story. But I wouldn't want a different 2 bikes. The V4 engine is just a peach. It's a beautiful engine. The sound of them both is amazing. This Ducati, I mean, I'm so surprised by this. It makes you feel so special, but this 21 model feels like it's been smoothed out. Some of the rough edges have been ironed out as well. I'm more happy with this than I even thought I would be from a road bike point of view. Look, I'm just cruising down the motorway now, comfy as anything. But yeah, you've got this massive beast underneath you. So yeah, I'm not going to say which one's better. I think they're both better at different things. They're both amazing bikes, but that's how they compare for me. You know, but again, it's very minute differences. And it all depends on what you want for a bike. For a track bike, you can't really go much far wrong with the Aprilia. For some of the prices you can get the 2020 models for. I've heard of 2020 models going for around about 17 grand, brand new, which is a lot of money, but it's a lot less than 25 grand for one of these. You know, 8 grand difference if you're going to put it on a trike. What pennies. So yeah, look, real short video. People have been asking for this, so I thought I'd just give you my quick opinion on what my comparisons are on the 2 bikes. I'm going to put a lot more miles on this. There's going to be a lot more content coming over the next few months. So yeah, with that being said, thanks for watching. If you would like the video and subscribe to the channel, it really helps me out. You can also follow me on Patreon as well. Links on the screen. Patreon, I post a lot of behind the scenes stuff, and there's also a chance to win a free track or off-road day with me, a track or off-road venue of your choice in the UK. So if that floats your boat, go and hit Patreon up. Yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.